Hey there, it's Laura Dominic. Thanks for joining me on a Plan for Joy podcast. Each week we'll be talking about things that will help you break the cycle of depletion. You know, the one that has you going from doing all the things to feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, resentment, anger, to sucking it up and starting all over again. And instead, learn to break the cycle and contribute from a place of abundance. Are you ready? Good. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of a Plan for Joy podcast. I'm excited to be here as we are just about to step into the season of Advent while I'm recording this. And I wanted to talk about overwhelm today because a lot of times getting ready for the holidays can be very overwhelming. Now, rest assured, if you're not listening to this during the Advent season, what I'm going to talk about is definitely applicable to any time of overwhelm that you might be going through. So I'm just using Advent as an example. You can apply this information and these tools that I'm going to give you today to any season or any event that you might be having that is overwhelming you. So let's get started. Usually when you're about to embark on a busy season, whether it's the holidays or moving or having a baby or starting a new job or something like that, ideally, you would like to remain at peace, right, while you're going through it. Because when you're feeling peaceful, then you're enjoying the process. You're in the present moment. You're not stressing. So that's the ideal. Especially during Advent, you want to maintain that spiritual sense of peace too, in addition to just being generally peaceful. So what usually happens, and here's where I'm going to use Advent as my example, is, you have your Advent plan. You've got maybe a journaling book that you're going to work through, or maybe you're doing some kind of an Advent Bible study or retreat or something like that you have planned. Mine this year I'm going to try the Liturgy of the Hours. And so you have this plan that you want to do. But then what starts to happen is you become completely overwhelmed by all of the things that you need to do and the short period of time that you realize you need to do it in. And so that is what starts to take over. Your stress, your anxiety, your irritability comes out more. And pretty soon, all that peacefulness and all that spiritual stuff you had planned goes by the wayside because you're more into the physical and the things that need to be done. And so what I want to tell you here is that it is possible to work with your mind and your body and not let them take over so that you can maintain some semblance of that peace. Because in my book, When Good Isn't Good Enough, which I will link to in the show notes because I'll be referring to it a couple times during this episode, overwhelm, we talk about the cycle of depletion, and overwhelm is the first step in that cycle. You start out feeling pretty good and you start doing things, and then it's like you have more and more things to do. So you start to become overwhelmed with everything that you're doing, no matter what the event or season is. And so if you do not have awareness and a plan to get yourself out of this cycle at this point, at the beginning, then you're going to start to go through the other steps of it. But let's assume that at this point, you're going to realize that, hey, I'm entering a time of overwhelm. And I know that if I don't stop it now, then it's going to get a lot worse. So what I want to do is have skills and mindset tools in my toolbox to say, all right, I realize I'm heading into overwhelm. What tools am I going to pull out to get myself out of the overwhelm now before I enter more fully into the cycle of depletion? And the farther you get into it, the the uglier it gets. So when you realize that, awareness being the first step here, you want to look and say, okay, what kind of skills do I need? It depends on the situation, it depends on you, but maybe you need to be more organized at this point. Maybe you need to build yourself a schedule or a routine. Definitely, if you don't have a prayer routine, maybe this season of overwhelm is calling you to develop more of an organized prayer routine. Maybe you need to learn boundaries at this point. Maybe you need to communicate better if you're feeling overwhelmed. More often than not, I would say your mindset definitely needs to be worked on. So you're going to need to pull out your mindset skills and emotional management skills. So there's a whole bunch of different tools that you could pull out at this point. Having all of those in your toolbox is what makes it easier, knowing how to communicate, knowing how to set boundaries. And those are all things that we work on in the coaching realm. One thing I wanted to teach you was how to have a plan. So if you know that you're going into the season of Advent or any event, you want to have a plan, and I have a tool that I'm going to describe to you that you can use. This is a tool. It's an invaluable tool. It helps you to get organized, to get it out on paper, and to have something concrete to look at when you're feeling like, okay, things are getting out of control. So again, for my example, my goal, you want to have a goal for your season of overwhelm, and you'd say, my goal is to have as peaceful and productive of an Advent as I possibly can. Okay, that's my goal. And then I'm going to pick 4 main steps that I need to take in order to accomplish that goal. So obviously, in this case, this example, we're getting ready for Christmas. So one of my steps is to do my Christmas shopping. And another step would be to decorate the house. And then a third step might be to bake the cookies and the pies or whatever it is we're going to make. And the fourth thing would be to organize Christmas dinner. Okay, so those are my 4 main steps. And if I can accomplish those, then I will have a peaceful and productive Advent. Now I'm going to break that down further. And under each step, I'm going to list 4 or 5 activities that I can do in order to accomplish those steps. So, for example, I said I needed to do my Christmas shopping. So, but before I can do Christmas shopping, I need to gather everybody's Christmas lists. And I need to, plan out, am I buying things online or am I going to go to the store? And then if I'm going to order online, my next step there could be to set a date that I'm going to do all the ordering. And then I'm going to set a date when I'm going to go out and do all the shopping. And then at the end, the 5th step under presents would be to wrap everything. Okay, so those are the things I need to do in order to accomplish that step. Then the other one was to decorate the house. So I need to probably clean the house as I'm decorating and get all of the items out, make sure I have all of my items would be another step, and put the regular stuff away and pull out all the decorations and set a date. What day are we going to do this? So make a plan. That's the idea behind this, is you've got a plan and you're breaking it down into minute steps, so that you're not having to think about it. And that's why this planning tool works so well, because you're just taking some time at the beginning to write it all out. And then you don't have to think about it again. You're like, oh, look, this is the day I said I was going to go order all the presents. This is the day I'm going to go shopping. This is the day I'm going to clean my house. For the baking, this is the day I'm going to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to have to look up all the recipes first before I do that and make my list, and then go to the store and then these are the days that I'm going to bake these cookies and these cookies and these cookies. Getting ready for Christmas dinner. This is the menu. These are the things I need to buy. This is when I need to buy it. And then this is when everything needs, a timeline of when everything needs to get cooked. So by breaking it down ahead of time and having it in one place, you make a little chart. This is such a handy tool that you now have removed a lot of the chaos from your time, and it will cut down on the overwhelm. And that's why I like this organizing tool. We use it. I learned it in the women's school, and I use it in my Plan for Joy framework coaching all the time. Again, I said this was a tool that, my example was for getting ready for Christmas, but you can plan this out when you're going to have a baby. What are the main things I need to do, and all the steps that fall under those main things. When I'm moving, that would be a huge advantage to be able to use this tool during that. When I'm hosting a holiday or a dinner party, when I'm planning a new business venture, what do I need to learn? Instead of just going at it haphazardly, what are the things that I need to do, and what order do I need to do them in? How about you're going to renovate some of your rooms in your home? You want to plan. It takes away so much of the overwhelm if you have this tool. So the second part that I want to talk about here is your mindset, because so often our minds, when we start to fall into that first step of the cycle of depletion, and things are starting to get a little crazy, where does our mind go? Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I will never get all this done. I am so tired because I've got so much to do. I can't do this by myself. There's no way it's going to get done. And you start to get anxiety and panic, and your mind ruminates on all of the negatives. Sound familiar? So what happens is your reticular activating system kicks in, and it's like, yeah, you're right. You are so busy. Let me show you how you're so busy. You don't have any free time. You're right. Look, you are tired. It matches up what you're saying, and it'll show you the ways that you're right. Okay, so it's a very powerful thing that you actually have control over. So I was just listening to another podcast by Dana Wilde, and she works with entrepreneurs, and she was talking about this too. And so basically, now think about this. When you're feeling bad, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you're using like the worst part of your brain, because you've got all this negativity and stress going on there. It shuts down all the creative pathways. So you're not seeing options. You're not seeing good options, right? You're not noticing things that you might notice as things, different paths you could take if you weren't so stressed out. Being this way also causes stress and disease. So you're more likely to have illnesses, things like that, when you've got all these negative thoughts ruminating around in your brain. You don't feel like doing anything. You go out into the world as a stressed, overtired person. And how is that good? Okay, now how are you making good decisions if that's the state of your mind? And so ideally, to cut down on this overwhelm, you need to recognize that this is happening. First of all, awareness, and then realize, okay, let's take stock of the state of my mind. What needs to change? You need to show up as your best self. You need to show up using your best brain. Dana likes to say you have to feel good first before you take action. So you can do that by telling yourself a new story. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I'm so stressed, start telling yourself, I can do this. I've got a plan. I've got time. There's always time to do what needs to be done, especially when I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so good about this, this event, this holiday season. I know that I'll get done what needs to get done. I am so excited to be doing what needs to be done in the time that it needs to be done. So when you start to tell yourself things like that, you're just going to go out there and feel so much better. Your stress levels are going to drop, and your mind is going to open up to new creative ideas, new creative pathways that you might not have seen before. And you're just going to get a lot more done in a shorter period of time. It's plain and simple. It works wonders. If you go out with your best brain, instead of your best foot forward, your best brain forward, you're going to be able to do more in a shorter amount of time. And you're going to enjoy doing it. I mean, that's the whole point, right? To be present in the moment and enjoy the process. You can do that by feeling good and having a positive mindset before you step out and do anything. So she talks about how, should I sit around and do nothing if I feel bad, if I'm stressed, if I'm tired? Okay, that's obviously not going to be what solves the problem here. Yes, there might be times where you need to take that short break, but really what you need to do is put your energy into feeling good, feeling better. Tell yourself a new story. Sit down and write out good, positive statements. Like I said before, I'm so excited to be jumping into this holiday season, or this moving season, or this new baby season, whatever it is. Put the words in that make sense for you. Your job is to feel better first. So what do you need to do that, to elevate your mood? It usually doesn't take very long. Maybe there's music you like to listen to that really elevates your mood. Maybe you need to just get up and move around, go take a walk, go do a little bit of exercise. Maybe if you're the kind of person who can take a power nap. I cannot do that. I feel horrible after I try to take a nap. But if that works for you, maybe that's all you need to do. The idea is that it doesn't take long to shift your energy, and you need to do that first so you can go out and accomplish the things that you need to accomplish in less time and enjoy them more. Especially in the winter time, you get hit with sickness. And of course, it's always at the time when you have so much to do and you get so frustrated. And so whether it's you being sick or somebody in your family being sick that you need to take care of, what happens? You start to ruminate again. Look at this has put me so far behind. I'm so upset. I just going to have to do things instead of sleeping, or I'm going to have to get out of bed and do it anyhow. No, what you need to do is accept the situation for what it is and realize that maybe you need to just take a couple of days. If you work on it from a mindset perspective as well as a health perspective and say, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to rest and recuperate now so that I can do it quicker and get up and accomplish what I need to accomplish. There will be time to do what needs to be done. And if it doesn't get done, then chances are it didn't need to get done, and it'll be okay. So think about it from a mindset perspective. Don't stress while you're recuperating, because that's not going to help you either. Try to have faith and trust that, okay, God, you know what you're doing here. I got a lot to do, but I'm going to rest. I'm going to take care of my child. I'm going to take care of whoever it is I need to take care of, and reprioritize and know that everything's going to be okay. So don't let your brain take over and send you down that negative path, because that's not going to help. So be aware of your mindset when things like that come up. To kind of wrap this all up, if you're experiencing a sense or a time of overwhelm, first of all, you need to have awareness that this is actually happening, because if you don't have awareness, then you're going to move into frustration and resentment and anger, and you're going to blow up at people. Okay, that's the cycle. You don't want to go down that path. You need to be aware at the beginning. Okay, I am overwhelmed. What can I do about it? I'm going to ask myself these couple of questions. Do I have a spiritual plan in place? Do I have a prayer routine? Maybe now I need to ramp that up or make sure that I follow it more closely to get through this. Is there a new skill that I need to learn, or a skill that I already know that I need to pull out of my toolbox and put into place? Do I need to create a boundary for this situation? Do I need to communicate better? Do I need to get command of my emotions? So ask yourself that. What skill do I need at this point that will help the situation? Do I have a written plan to help me stay organized? Remember, what's your goal? What are your 4 main points, 4 main action steps that you need to take? And what are all the little things, the little details that go into each step in order to accomplish it? Have a written plan. I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference. And then, just as important, what is my mindset? Let's take stock of my mind. What am I ruminating about? Is it negative stuff? Can I shift it to positive stuff? Do I need to tell myself a different story? So one or all of those might be the problem. Awareness of the feelings you're having, knowledge of where the problem lies. If you have those, you can stop the cycle in its tracks and enjoy yourself more. You'll get it all done, and you'll be more present in the moment and enjoy the process as you're going through that. This is a lot of what my Plan for Joy framework is all about. And that's why so many times we find ourselves falling into depletion and not being able to give to others out of joy and peace and abundance. And that's really where we want to be. So we need to have that framework, the Plan for Joy framework in place, so that when we need it, it's there. It's already figured out. We don't have to stress about it. We just go, okay, this will help me. This will help me. And that's, again, like I said, all outlined in my book, When Good Isn't Good Enough. So if you haven't read that, I would suggest that you give it a quick read. You can read it in under an hour. You can get it on my website. I'll leave the information in the show notes. And then we can work together on setting up your own Plan for Joy so that you can go out and contribute to others from a place of peace and abundance. And that's the goal. Kick this cycle of depletion to the curb. Stop getting sucked into the overwhelm. I mean, is overwhelm going to go away? No. But you can stop it and lessen it if you're aware and you have a plan. I hope that helps you as you go through your time of overwhelm. Come back to this. Like I said, I used Advent as an example, but it really can apply to any situation that you might be going through that is overwhelming to you. And so thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my channel, whether it's on YouTube or your podcast, whatever podcast app you like to listen on. And if you could please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, I would really appreciate it, because reviews are the lifeblood of podcasters. So I appreciate your support. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you again next week. God bless.